Hello, my name is Bethany Boback, and I am a wildlife and fisheries student at West Virginia University, so thank you for being here. Today I'd like to talk about a large concept, or you could say a macro concept, about health. And nothing like heart disease or diabetes or obesity, but the health of a stream. And so there are multiple players that go into a healthy functioning stream ecosystem. And the macro concept about that is that this most important player is only about the length of your pinky fingernail, about 0.2 to 0.5 millimeters in length. And so, of course, the organism I'm talking about is the benthic macroinvertebrate. And the cool thing about names is even if you don't know anything about what it is, you can break down the word. And so you have benthic, which refers to any organism that lives on the bottom or in the substrate of a stream, a river, a pond, or a lake. You have macro, and in this case, macro is a relatively large size for the insect, or it also includes the crustaceans, annelids, or mollusks that are in the benthic macroinvertebrate group. You have invertebrate, that is any animal without a backbone. And so when you put that together, you have a pretty good description of what's going on. You have a benthic freshwater macroinvertebrate that lives at the bottom of rivers, streams, ponds, and lakes that you can see with your eye that may or may not spend its entire life in the water. So with that said, does anybody have any experience with benthic macroinvertebrates? Has anybody seen a dragonfly or a mayfly?
Yeah, I think so.
Those are hatched benthic macroinvertebrates. Or anglers, they like to use fly larvae for bait. Or, well, as my mom would say, if you go swimming in the river and you're sliding on the rocks, putting the rocks, and so with that said, why are the benthic macroinvertebrates important for the health of the stream? So why do macros matter? Well, there's three reasons. The first one being that they are very important for the flow of a stream, how nutrients are processed, how organic matter is broken down. Second of all, they're part of the food web, and so anything that's part of the food web is important. And third, maybe the most important reason, is because they're a bioindicated species. And so when you think of an animal, you organize and label and categorize that animal based on taxonomy. So for example, the common net spinning caddisfly, it's called Trichoptera hydrocypridae. That's just down to the family level. But in this case, benthic macroinvertebrates are actually labeled by their functional feeding group, which has to do with what type of mouth parts they have. So you can have scrapers, shredders, piercers, browsers, and predators. And so, because of that mouth part, they break down the organic matter. What happens is, you have a leaf in a tree and it's fall, so the leaf falls into the water, the head water stream. You have certain macroinvertebrates in that stream that will break down that leaf into smaller pieces. And then you will have that macroinvertebrates further downstream that will break down those small pieces, and further and on. And all at the same time, they are eating each other, they're providing food for the fish, and other the helgramite will actually eat all the macroinvertebrates and keep it in check. And so that's how it can keep the organic matter under control and provide food. So the food web and organic matter control. Can you imagine what would happen if all the leafy material and all the woody debris just sat in the streams? That would cause some major problems downstream. It would be kind of the opposite of what a beaver does. You would have problems with food availability downstream, which would in turn affect what kind of species diversity you had downstream, and then probably flooding because the flow is messed up. So it's all very important. So that idea where you have special macroinvertebrates that are different upstream than downstream, and they all have a part, and that helps with the flow of the streams in the river until it gets to the river. That's called the river continuum concept. And it's it's really important. Well, fisheries majors really rely on that, and that's kind of what they study. But it's important to you because if the health of a stream and an ecosystem since we're all connected, ecosystems, it's your health as well, fish, and just overall health. So the third reason why they're important is because they're a bioindicating species. Now, usually if you're having a problem with the water quality of your stream, you'll take a water sample, and you'll check for the pH, salinity, temperature, conductivity, if there's nutrient pollution or heavy metals in water, and you send it off to the lab. But the only problem is that a water sample is a snapshot of the water at that time. And so in the meantime, while you're having that sample processed, it might have changed due to maybe a heavy rainfall. But if you have a living organism that you sample, then since they're long term, you have a better understanding of what's going on in your stream. And if you have baseline data, you can make a story out of what was present, what's present now, what happened around the stream that might have changed that. And so having a bioindicating species is very important, usually in any kind of land management at all. So there are a lot of organizations that allow citizens, just the general public, to participate in the sampling of macroinvertebrates and stream evaluation and stream monitoring efforts. You have Trout Unlimited, Friends of Decker's Creek, and West Virginia Save Our Streams. And what you do is you go out, even if you don't want to do that with them, you just want to know what's going on in your backyard. You find a nice stream, a nice little riffle in the stream, and you put your net there, and you have your friend do kind of a swivel dance to dislodge all the bugs from the rocks, and then you catch them in your net, and you can pick them out and look at them. And the cool thing is that we know which species are sensitive and which are tolerant. So depending on what species you find in your stream, you can determine whether or not you have a healthy stream. And if you look on the table in these little containers, sometimes it's easier to turn them on their side and look at it through the light. These are what I'm talking about, the little larvae, and sometimes they just spend their whole lives in the water. But these are the little bugs that you can pick out of the stream that the fish love, in your bathing suit when you're swimming. And
are they all that small?
well, some of them can be the length of your pinky, like the Helgramites.
As long as your pinky?
Well, they can be as long as your pinky. Sometimes as wide as your pinky. Like there's a fly larva called Dipteroteculidae. They're really squishy and they can get really long, and they're basically it's like an earthworm but in the water. Huh. But you have a Helgramite, which he's the only one that can bite you. He's the top dog, and he eats all the other macroinvertebrates.
He's not in here?
No, I don't have them. They're hard to find. Well, the streams I was sampling a valley ago, so it was already impaired before I got there. But overall, because macroinvertebrates play such an important role in helping the stream through nutrient cycling and just telling you how healthy your stream is, it's really important that we manage the land around us, what runs off our roads, how many agricultural things you have going on around the stream. If you have construction projects like valley fills and mining, or timbering projects for construction, sediment could get into the stream. And so it's just another step to think of, that it's not just it's not just us and just a scenic Parks and Rec kind of view of things. It's a functioning ecosystem that we're a part of. And so hopefully I was able to communicate how important